threat. Let's bring in our political reporter, Pablo Vinales now. Hi, Pablo. So how's the government trying to frame
Is Asia first.
Has ordered an urgent investigation into the power.
While Jack Draper suffers
Tonight, weather disaster as violent storms sweep across several.
I am again thankful to all news media outlets for letting me use their contents. I greatly appreciate that. I am available 24/7 if they need any assistance. Now go to the headlines. Hi and very warm welcome at Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Following news headlines have been reported by world major English news channels and news agencies. So please watch it.
Tonight, the trade war is set to explode in just hours. The major market rally in the morning fades, the day ending with another big loss on Wall Street after President Trump said he'll raise his tariffs on goods imported from China to 104%. What that could mean and how China is reacting. And Christine Roman's on the countdown to midnight and the price you could pay. Tom Yamas breaks down how everything from sneakers to smartphones to the popular new video game console could surge in cost. The moment the roof of a nightclub in the Dominican Republic caved in, killing dozens of people inside, including a one-time Major League Baseball star. The desperate search for survivors. The Supreme Court hands President Trump wins on two key issues, saying he does not have to reinstate fired federal workers and can keep using wartime powers to deport alleged gang members to a prison in El Salvador. Plus young men and online sports betting, the growing concerns over the risks of addiction.
When I say severe, I'm talking gambling 8 hours a day, compulsively betting, waking up thinking about the bets that you placed the night before.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester.
And welcome to Hannity, and tonight we are back in the D.C. Swamp, broadcasting live from inside the U.S. Capitol building, where in just a moment we're going to be joined by Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Tom Cotton, Senator Kennedy, Senator Britt, Senator Graham, Senator Scott, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, the Majority Leader himself, John Thune, for a very special Senate Town Hall. And we begin tonight with one word. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Reconciliation. I'm going to spare you the boring, gritty details of what is a rather arcane, budgetary, but really, really important procedure. But just know that the senators here in this room can, in fact, pass certain spending and revenue bills with a simple 51-vote majority. No filibuster-proof supermajorities needed. Now, this could play a significant role in giving Tom Homan the tools that he would need to secure our border. That would mean new miles of border wall. That would mean expanded ICE capabilities, additional Border Patrol agents, the ability to expedite deportations on a large scale. You know, we have known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, and gang members in our country that need to be sent home. This could also be used to make President Trump's tax cuts permanent. Otherwise, it's going to be a $4 trillion tax increase on you, the American people. He can also implement no tax on tips or overtime or Social Security, and even implement certain changes recommended by DOJ that'll eliminate hundreds of billions in waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption inside of our federal government. And of course, reconciliation might ultimately play a role in President Trump's reciprocal tariff strategy. There is a little disagreement on that issue tonight. We'll get into it. Now, tonight, for the first time in decades, we do have a president that is willing and ready and able to stand up for American industry, for the working men and women that truly do make our country great and our interests around the globe. No amount of hysteria, no amount of fear-mongering is going to shake the president's resolve. As Caroline Leavitt very articulately mentioned today, President Trump does have a spine of steel. Take a look.
Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the market's closing down late today as President Trump escalates the trade war with China, slapping new tariffs on China tonight. Elon Musk calling President Trump's top trade advisor dumber than a sack of bricks. And the Republican senator asking tonight on these tariffs, whose throat do I get to choke if this is wrong? Also tonight here, the horrific roof collapse, killing at least 58 people. The video as people notice parts of the roof coming down on them. First tonight, the market's closing down, the Dow dropping another 320 points today, down more than 4,500 points since the tariffs were announced. President Trump's next wave of steep tariffs set to take effect at midnight, and the president now ratcheting up his trade war with China. Tonight, we're with home builders across the U.S. who say the tariffs are already hurting, what this will do to the cost of building a home and buying one here in the U.S. The chilling images coming in tonight the moment the roof collapses at a popular nightclub. A band performing on stage when suddenly everything comes crashing down. Dozens are dead tonight, including a former Major League pitcher for the Yankees and the Mets among the victims. The images coming in from the Dominican Republic. New reporting tonight on the alleged assassination attempt against then-candidate Trump. What we've now learned about that suspect on the golf course and what he allegedly tried to get his hands on before that day. Tonight, the Supreme Court upholding President Trump's deportation plan, allowing him to use the Alien Enemies Act to send migrants to El Salvador. Matt Rivers in El Salvador tonight at that notorious prison. Back here in the U.S., the disturbing video, the family outraged after their autistic son is shot by police. Tonight, he is now fighting for his life. This evening, the flood emergency across several states, and now the deep freeze moving in all the way to the northeast. Ginger Z standing by with the forecast. Tonight, the coach charged with murdering a 13-year-old. The family reporting their son missing. His body has now been found. Newly released body camera video tonight showing the race to save a firefighter trapped inside this home. First responders racing toward him. Tonight, the surprise at an American zoo. They had no idea she was pregnant. The giraffe giving birth, the baby, 6 feet tall, 128 pounds. And America Strong tonight, the family refusing to give up on their rescue dog, determined to earn his trust. And you'll see the moment right here. It all changed.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is... On this Tuesday night, the intensifying trade war between the U.S. and China.
It was a mistake for China to retaliate.
The midnight deadline and how Canadians could be caught in the crossfire.
It's significant. You have the two big economic gorillas starting to fight.
America's beefed up border.
We don't have any rights.
New concerns about phones being searched and other advice for travelers. Nightclub nightmare. The deadly roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Plus, dire traits. A bioscience company says it's resurrected a long-extinct species of wolf. The colossal claim and ethical debate.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We appear to be just hours away from an unprecedented escalation in the global trade war involving the world's two largest economies. The White House confirms that after midnight, Chinese imports into the U.S. will be hit with a whopping 104% tariff. It comes after the U.S. and then China imposed 34% tariffs on the other. The White House issuing a final warning for Beijing to back down.
America is punched, he punches back harder. That's why there will be 104% tariffs going into effect on China tonight at midnight. But the president believes that she and China want to make a deal.
It made for another volatile day on the stock markets. After Monday's historic lows, trading started strong this morning, but that rally was short-lived. U.S. stocks closing in negative territory, with the S&P 500 capping off its worst four-day stretch since the financial crash in 2008.
The tariffs are on, and the money is pouring in at a level that we've never seen before. And it's going to be great for us. It's going to be great for other countries. This has been something used against us for many years by other countries, China in particular.
The American president is facing frantic calls tonight to immediately reverse course. Jackson Prosco reports from Washington. Is the policy working right now? Under fire over tariffs. On this Tuesday night, the intensifying trade war between the U.S. and China.
It was a mistake for China to retaliate.
The midnight deadline and how Canadians could be caught in the crossfire.
It's significant. You have the two big economic gorillas starting to fight.
America's beefed up border.
You don't have any rights.
New concerns about phones being searched and other advice for travelers. Nightclub nightmare. The deadly roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Plus, dire traits. A bioscience company says it's resurrected a long-extinct species of wolf. The colossal claim and ethical debate.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. We appear to be just hours away from an unprecedented escalation in the global trade war.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Daybreak and these are our top stories this hour. They are in effect. US taxes on Chinese imports are 104% on EU products. They're 20%. Donald Trump sticking to his position and trade tariffs despite pushback from US billionaires and some of his closest advisors. Rescue workers continue to search the rubble of a nightclub in Dominican Republic. The roof of the building collapsed during a concert, killing at least 98 people, including the singer, and scores of others were injured. And questioning Chinese neutrality, Ukraine says it's captured 2 Chinese nationals fighting for Russia there. Beijing has said it is not taking sides in that fight, though its ties with Moscow have been growing stronger in recent years. And 4% tariffs on all Chinese goods entering the United States, 20% on anything now from the European Union. Those trade tariffs in effect despite a pushback from billionaires in the US, some calling on Donald Trump to reverse course. The US president, though, sticking to his plan, insisting that it will all lead to bilateral deals and eventually boost the US economy.
My view.
It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Trump administration's tariffs are now in force across the globe. We'll look at the market reaction in just a moment. A faulty radio antenna found to have contributed to the deadly 2023 SeaWorld helicopters crash.
There was a number of things that failed that lined up for this to occur.
The coalition spruiks its long-awaited gas policy modelling, which shows cuts to household energy bills. And residents in southwest Queensland return home to assess flood damage. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Dan Washer, coming to you from the lands of the Gadigal people. Well, there has just been a seismic shift in global trade. US President Donald Trump's heavy new tariffs are now in place. The Australian share market is trading down more than 1% after President Donald Trump confirmed all goods from China will be hit with a 104% tariff. The falls in local stocks follow a 1.6% plunge on Wall Street's S&P 500 index, which has closed below 5,000 for the first time in almost a year. President Trump has made it clear he wants a greater share of the energy export market, which Australia is a part of.
We have more coal than any other country. You go to Australia, they have fantastic amounts of coal. You know who they sell it to? China. They sell it to China. They're nearby. They sell a lot of it to China. But we have more than anywhere else on Earth. We also have more liquid gold than anywhere on Earth. So we're really an energy behemoth, but we're unleashing that also.
And Alicia Barry has been watching the morning session of the stock market and joins us now. Alicia, this is an enormous move
really, that you and I have been talking about for a couple of days now. What's the latest in the markets?
Yeah, that's right. It's a seismic shift in not just the global trading system, but the way that countries interact with each other as the US seeks to go inward with these tariffs. The Australian share market is down about 1.7%. Traders are watching this unfold. They were really hopeful.
The trade war between President Trump and China is escalating.
104% tariffs came into effect today, but cracks are emerging within the president's top team.
Elon Musk has branded the tariff czar in America, Peter Navarro, as dumber than a sack of bricks.
But the White House is showing no signs of backing down.
Countries like China, who have chosen to retaliate and try to double down on their mistreatment of American workers, are making a mistake. President Trump has a spine of steel.
Meanwhile, the Chancellor in Britain rejects business calls for a Buy British campaign and branding such measures as inward-looking. Your views welcome.
More bad news for Rachel Reeves. London falls out of the top 5 wealthiest cities as the capital loses over 11,000 millionaires.
The government is accused of dropping its commitment for grooming gang inquiries. GB News can exclusively reveal the number of people jailed for ratting at a hotel housing asylum seekers in Rotherham has now exceeded the number of grooming gang abusers jailed in the same town.
The Birmingham bin crisis intensifies. Councillors are branded clueless as firemen refuse to clear rubbish piling up on the streets.
And congratulations as the King and Queen celebrate their 20th wedding anniversary. And they're in Rome. They're on that state visit in Rome.
Prince Harry is back in court. The Duke's lawyers argue he needs guaranteed state protection for his family on visits to the UK.
A slight overshadowing from Prince Harry, but the King and Queen remain steadfast, will be guests of honour at a magnificent state banquet this evening. More details shortly.
Thank you, Cameron. And Universal Studios will open its first theme park in Britain. It's an estimated £50 billion boost over a number of years, and it's going to open in 6 years' time.
As scientists bring back dire wolves from extinction, we're asking, should other animals follow suit, or are we playing God?
Hello there, good morning. There's going to be a split in the weather today, cloudier and cooler in eastern areas, but elsewhere a return of that warm spring sunshine. Stay tuned and I'll have all the details.
2 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, a very good morning to you. I'm Eamon Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
This is Asia Now.
It's 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi, and 1 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Grecian, and at this hour, as the Trump administration's country-specific tariffs kick in, world leaders scramble for talks with the White House to negotiate last-minute concessions. Beijing has vowed to fight to the end with the U.S. And stocks plunge with Asia's export-oriented economies bracing for U.S. import taxes. Shares in Japan lead the declines, falling about 3%. Politicians in South Korea declare their candidacy ahead of snap presidential polls. Eyes are on whether main opposition leader Lee Jae-myung, who is considered a frontrunner, will throw his hat into the ring, and that is after he stepped down as party chief. Our top story this hour, the major shift in the global trading order triggered by the world's biggest economy, America. A slew of higher reciprocal tariffs of 11 to 50% is now in place for 86 economies around the globe. Last week, Washington slapped a lower 10% baseline levy on parts of the world, and President Trump is now refusing a respite of any kind, saying the tariffs will remain in place until fair deals with every country are reached. He claims many nations are scrambling to negotiate tailor-made deals with him, but adds they will be accepted only if it benefits American workers and eliminate the country's trade deficit.
They're in a plane flying, lots of them, all tough negotiators, but things that people wouldn't have given us 2 years ago, wouldn't have even thought of it, they're giving us everything. They don't want tariffs on themselves, and It's very simple. We're making deals, and people are paying tariffs. Countries are paying tariffs. Right now, China's paying a 104% tariff. They've ripped us off left and right. But now it's our turn to do the ripping.
Mr. Trump says his administration is making a fortune, raking in $2 billion a day from the tariffs so far. And financial markets in Asia are declining amid intensifying worries that the rollout of Trump's reciprocal tariffs today may hurt the region's growth. Japan's Nikkei.
A very good morning to you. It's 7 o'clock on today's show. President Trump's tariffs are now in force and markets are falling accordingly.
So Keir Starmer will hope a new transatlantic deal to build a theme park in Bedford could set the tone for tariff talks. The Culture Secretary joins us in just a minute.
Plus, how child predators are using dating apps to get closer to their victims.
It's Wednesday, the 9th of April. Your headlines. Asian markets falling as President Trump's global tariffs come into force, including a 104% levy on Chinese goods.
And I really think we're helped a lot by the tariff situation that's going on, which is a good situation, not a bad. It's great. It's going to be legendary. You watch legendary in a positive way, I have to say.
Prime Minister confirms a deal for a new universal theme park in Bedford, promising to bring billions to Britain's economy. Teachers and students voiced their fears over a decision to move almost 400 Safer Schools officers out of London schools. A very good with you. Trump's came into force. The heaviest has fallen on China, which now faces a 104% levy on goods being sent to the US. Let's have a look at what markets have been doing overnight, because they've been falling sharply. We can bring those up for you right now. Markets are sliding to the tune of 3.7% from the Nikkei. Hong Kong down 1%. And you can see Australia is down 2%. You've also got a slide of around about...
Africa News. The news. Lieutenant General Tate Sewerede was named the interim president of the Tigray region on Tuesday, replacing Getachew Reda. Before his appointment, Tedese acted as the deputy president of Tigray's interim administration and head of the cabinet secretariat for peace and security. He has been mandated to ensure the full return of the internally displaced persons to their homes. In a one-page document he signed, he is also expected to ensure the swift disarmament and reintegration of former combatants in line with the Pretoria Agreement. The swearing ceremony was attended by key dignitaries from the government and the newly elected chairperson of the African Union, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. There were concerns in the region that the widening political split between the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) could have a full-fledged civil war like the one that ended in 2022 with the signing of a peace agreement.
Tehran has confirmed that talks between Iran and the US will take place in Oman, but emphasized that the discussions will be indirect. This confirmation comes after President Donald Trump's announcement that the US is willing to negotiate directly over Iran's nuclear program. We had said before that if we were talked to with a language of respect, we would negotiate. The negotiations, as the foreign minister announced, will be indirect and will be held in Oman. Our national interests and what matters to the Iranian people will be among the topics of the talks. President Trump had previously stated that these talks would start on Saturday and warned Iran of great danger if the negotiations fail. But Iran's foreign minister reiterated the talks would remain indirect.
A baby girl has become the first child in the UK to be born to a mother using a transplanted womb. Grace Davidson, who was born without a viable womb, received the transplant from her older sister, Amy.
I just knew that there was just such a longing in me to carry my own baby, and to have that with me and Angus, to go through a pregnancy and to know her from like the earliest moment. And it's like an innate thing. I just couldn't satisfy that through other ways, and yeah, it's just
the Davidsons were able to have the transplant support of the charity Womb Transplant UK. The NHS, the culmination of more than 25 years of research into womb transplantation. More than 100 womb transplants have been reported worldwide, with more than 50 healthy deliveries so far. The first birth was reported in Sweden in 2014. The procedure could make it possible for more women without uteruses to deliver their own babies rather than relying on surrogacy or adoption.
Paris Saint-Germain will face the English side Aston Villa on Wednesday for the first leg of their Champions League quarter-final at the Parc des Princes. Luis Enrique's side go into the game having secured the League One title at the weekend with 6 games to spare, their 4th straight French championship. I think we are favourites, just as we were in the previous round against Liverpool, where all the books said we had no options or few options to advance. There are no favourites in this stage in football. There are 8 teams that, if they are in this phase, it is because they deserved it. 8 teams that can move the next phase. And the road is full of eliminated favourite teams. So we are going to do what we need to win the game and the tie on the pitch, which is really difficult. Meanwhile, FC Barcelona had their final training session ahead of Wednesday Champions League quarter-final first leg against the Borussia Dortmund. The Hans Flick side said that his team was well prepared to face their opponents.
No,
I think we must prepare well for this match against a team that did very well in their last games. This is what it is about. Of course, I appreciate Niko Kovac a lot. He is a fantastic person and a great coach. I am very happy to see him again. Let's see how it goes, but for sure we will prepare this game very well.
Bis am Ende morgen aussieht, aber wir werden gut vorbereitet.
Barcelona and Dortmund.
Thank you very much for giving time to Amish Shackle 5858. I am Amish Shackle. Have a good life. Bye-bye.